Hey everybody, it's Tuesday. It's that time of the week where we're going to be talking about our podcast. Our podcast, Mind Your Health podcast, is all about making sure that you have everything you need to apply the principles of the alkaline method, all four elements, which makes you whole. It's a very different type of a unique mechanism by which we use in our work, in our programs, to shift your perspective from the inside out, to equip you, elevate your thinking and the being of who you're being in your world, as well as to elevate your minds, as well as to expand your minds to newer possibilities so that you can be empowered to heal yourself. Really, we work from the premise that healing is an inside job, that there is nothing, no other program, no other diet, supplements, or a medical doctor can heal you until you choose to heal yourself. With that in mind, I just wrapped up our week-long autoimmune challenge in our small group in our Facebook called the Tribe of the Autoimmune Health Rebels. And what we found collectively was the values that they say that they hold, value being their health, is not necessarily the case when you really get down to really understanding what values are. Values really are a person's principles or standards of behavior, one's judgment of what's important in life. And I get this because I lived from this place for so long. I would tell everybody that I value my health, but my behaviors and whatever I did in my life didn't reflect that I put health as my top priority. There's an inherent bias within every one of us to expect our bodies to behave and be healthy. And it's sort of like we have this default setting to take a backseat and expect it to take care of itself. So today is all about shifting from sickness to health, how that requires you revealing your own hidden values. What values are you operating from? Because as an entrepreneur, I have a lot of coaches that I work with within masterminds and different programs to learn how to better manage my business. One of the topics that were asked was, what are my values? And a lot of the work that I do, it really hits home because, as you guys know, in my alkaline method, we have the 4 essential elements to kind of piece together the puzzle pieces, the fragmented puzzle pieces to make you whole. And I kid you not, I have a lot of courses and programs that I've sort of adapted and learned from. And I have many different mentors in my life, both in business, health, as well as a practitioner. And I can tell you 3 essential things. It all has the same denominator, which is our relationship with ourselves largely determines our relationship with our health, our relationship with our business or our wealth, as well as our relationship with other people. That is super important because that is the underlying root of all human suffering to create a trigger in our lives emotionally and mentally to make choices in our lives, perpetuating sometimes things that perpetuate our sickness. And in fact, this is exactly the reason why we are where we are. We are our thoughts, which then trigger feelings. Feelings then drive our behaviors or some choices that we make in our lives to create the result in our lives. So as we talk about the values, my mentor asked me in my business when I was struggling many, many years ago, he said, what are some of your values? And you know what? Money wasn't in one of my values. I say my business is important, then I needed to value my money, but I didn't value it. And so it didn't really live as a standard by which why I did things. My relationship with my money was so poor because growing up as an immigrant, I was always ingrained by my parents how money is hard to come by, money is evil, money is something that makes you greedy, and money is something that you don't want. It's almost like a negative to say you want money. But as a business owner, I found that if you don't have money, I can't pay my employees. If I don't have money, then I can't take care of my kids. If I don't have money, I can't pay for my healthcare. So all these things came to surface to recognize, oh my gosh, if I don't value the money, how do I expect to succeed in my business? Same thing was true, flipped around in my health. I really wasn't. I said I valued health in my life. My behaviors and everything did line up with me valuing my health, but it was all for the wrong reasons. I truly didn't value my own health because in the name of health, because I knew so much didactically, I would cook stuff for other people in my family. But when it came down to cooking for myself and spending tons of money on supplements and all the raw ingredients to go, gluten-free and whatever, or go completely organic, it was easier for me to adapt to that if it was for my sons who had allergies at the time. But when it came to me, I would belittle, boo-hoo my needs and say, my sons deserve so much more. And that inherent nature to sacrifice my own health for other people, it came full circle when I was lying in my hospital bed, sick as anybody, and incapable of taking care of my kids. And then I came to realize, oh my goodness, if I don't value my own health, it's going to negatively impact my kids. And I do not want them to live a life without their healthy mother. And so I had to make a choice and really start to value myself. And only when I valued myself enough to recognize, then I can extend the valuing of health for my own benefit with no guilt or shame around that. I've had many calls this week with many of you, and many of you get stuck on the cost or this or that, and it's all about why you can't. And the main theme kind of comes down to the lack of self-worth that we hold for each other or with ourselves, so much so that we shy away from doing the things that's going to take us to another level. Even if we know that that's what it requires, we're not willing to invest in the time and the money for ourselves because we think other people need it a lot more, especially if you're a mom, if you're a wife. There's a lot of guilt and shame around asking for money, especially if you are not working or you're not the breadwinner. Even if you are, it's almost like I've seen many patients, they'd much rather get their nails done week by week, month by month, but they wouldn't pay for things that would really help them to really feel better and reverse their symptoms. So this is something that I want to kind of bring to your awareness because this is a blind side to many of us, right? The results in your life and health are a direct reflection of the values that you actually hold in your life. And the values you hold in your life are likely not your own. They were learned and indoctrinated by your environment, caretakers, and those of you that sort of formed you from an early age. So it's time to learn how you can reveal your current adopted values so that you can find out your true core values to shift from sickness to health once and for all. Because the way I define autoimmunity in my program is that autoimmunity is an intolerance to our own selves. It's like your body's been sending you signals and it's been screaming at you through the symptoms. But you know what we do when things go wrong? It's as if we have no responsibility over that. And we go to the doctor, take care of this. What's happening? When the only person who has full command and control over your own faculties is yourself, is your central nervous system. If you truly understood neuroscience, psychology, and how your physiology works in your body to create the thoughts and the feelings and then the choices that you make through the behaviors and the results that you create, not to mention the fact that our thoughts and our feelings really can create a physiological effect in our body, sick or health. That control is within all of us. It doesn't make sense to me that we go to the doctors when things go wrong on the inside, expecting them to figure it out. And many of you walk around super frustrated because there's specialists after specialists can't figure out exactly what's wrong with you. And exactly what happens is they wait until things get so bad that it comes up on your serology, which is your testing. That's why I need you to really look at your tendencies to deny your body because of what your beliefs are, your underlying beliefs and the values that you hold or the lack thereof is really at the root cause of your autoimmunity. And I talked about this during my training. I talked about self-betrayal, that when we're self-betraying, we don't love and accept ourselves for who we are, that we're betraying ourselves in all kinds of ways, both big and small, doing things inadvertently to hurt ourselves, sometimes consciously, sometimes subconsciously. I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that there are many women that really, because they feel so bad about themselves and their confidence is wavering all the time, that they punish themselves. And as a weight loss expert, being a registered dietitian in the medical nutrition therapy community, I learned that a lot of women, whether it be anorexia, bulimia, or overeating or overindulging, whatever you want to call it, it's highly psychological. There is a self-punishing aspect to dieting and holding yourself to a standard that the world set for you, for us to look a certain way, to be a certain way as a mom, as a woman, a certain size, the numbers on the scale, or your clothing size, or your pant size, shoe size, or whatever you want to call it. It's like there is a portrayal for us to be a certain way. And if we don't measure up to that external ruler, then it's almost like we don't recognize that we have the wrong ruler by which we measure our self-worth. And that self-worth, here's the truth. The truth is that every single one of you is 110%, 200% worthy of love. And you are completely lovable. And you are unique and you're special. It doesn't matter how you feel. You subject yourselves to the feelings, and your feelings will deny you. And your feelings will take you further down this self-betraying, self-loathing spiral, which is what I want to save you from through the use of our alkaline method with its 4 respective pillars. And today we're really talking about the core values. It's really the subconscious values that you hold yourself to be, that you live your life really playing out the results in your life, and evidence is really real. The value that you hold for your own self in the subconscious element of the alkaline method, it's really the 3rd pillar in the 1st element of the alkaline method, that we must shift from adapted values by which we live our lives to really the core values that we want to value. We have to have a North Star, a clear vision for how we want to live our lives. What does health look like for us, right? So I really want you to get deeper with yourselves and really get real with yourselves and really be able to look in the mirror and really ask hard questions to bring up your self-worth. Because if I know anything about each and every one of you, is that you lack that self-worth. You always wait to be chosen. You don't choose yourselves. That lack is so pervasive in all things that you do that you're completely blindsided by it. You're no longer the martyr of your life. There's no sacrifice to be made. You're not the sacrifice. Because long ago, I've had to learn the hard way that if my kids didn't have a healthy mom, and if I couldn't be a healthy mom for them, which required me to relook and shift my mindset, my subconscious values, like I lived from self-loathing and ill confidence and always not measuring up, always never feeling good enough. I lived from that place, so I had a tendency to physiologically punish myself. And that no longer holds true for me. I have to make a really conscious decision every single day to shift my priorities, to make sure that I make my priorities and I live by my values. But nobody really teaches us how to look at what your values are. Where are you living from? Who are you being every single day? Are you a victim or are you a rebel, right? You can be victim, living a life of a victim, sort of letting life happen to you, or be really responsible rebel to know exactly what you want to create and get busy doing that. For me, life is measured, right? We all are going to really transition. Transition meaning there's going to be a time where we all leave this earth. And this vessel, this physicality that we own will no longer be in our possession. It's in our best interest. We're all going to go in that same direction. Live your lives to the fullest. You're worth it. You're worth everything. Stop being a martyr. Stop sacrificing yourself for other people. Stop being a people pleaser. Learn to know who you are on the deep inside. And really, that's at the root of your autoimmunity. Once you find your core, I promise you guys, every single one of you listening, watching, what have you, that you can truly heal from the inside out. And you'll be healed both mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, to where you know now who you are being every day, and the vision by which you live your life, so your values become super focused and clear, so that when you apply the third element of the alkaline method, which is the modern science, functional medicine, nutrition, whatever, the supplements, when you apply that, it becomes icing on the cake. Then you molecularly change for the better towards direction of healing, to ultimately applying the fourth element of the alkaline method, which is timeless wisdom. We never defy Mother Nature. We abide by the natural laws. And by default, you guys, the natural law, law of physics, and the way you were made is that you're one of a kind, you're 100% lovable, and you're so worthy, you're so unique, you're so special. But most importantly, in a default state, timeless wisdom piece, element of the alkaline method is for you to know that by default, your body strives to be in a state of well-being. And if you are sick with autoimmunity, you've crossed the line, you've crossed the threshold, you stopped living your life, and you stopped listening to your own body. It's almost like that self-betrayal, self-loathing, right? And then when something breaks loose, what do? We go run to the doctor to figure that out. What's wrong on the inside can only be realized by us. And that's really the secret to our work in the alkaline method, our autoimmune health transformation, all the services that I offer. I hope this was insightful. I am going to commit to showing up more in my Instagram to share recipes, yoga, and a lot of the inspos. And it's where I can be raw to you about all the lifestyle hacks that I learned. And it's where I have an opportunity to come live in real time to you, to show up as me, so that I can be a living example for what's possible for you as well. And so that Instagram handle is at Dr. Connie Gian. I also have an Instagram handle called @LupusRebel. You can follow me either way, but I will be more personable on my @Dr. Connie Gian. I share a lot through @LupusRebel, as well as please subscribe to my channel or my iTunes podcast here. It's Mind Your Health. And leave us a review, because it really does a number on the algorithm. And really the deep purpose for why I do what I do is I want to end all unnecessary suffering in the lives of disempowered autoimmune patients, because we live so much of it in our victimhood. And my goal is to get you out of that, shift your mind and out of that victim state towards a healthier state, so that you can take full responsibility and fully realize the fact that healing is an inside job, that you are the self-healer. And so thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you guys all next week. And every Tuesdays at 3 o'clock, you can tune in here. And again, I remind you, please, please, please subscribe and leave us a review. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys all next week.